Good evening and welcome to this public forum with the candidates for the Mandan Park Board. I am Catherine Sprinzanatic and I will be your moderator this evening. This candidate forum has been organized by the League of Women Voters of Bismarck Mandan and is co-sponsored by the Bismarck Tribune and Dakota Media Access. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that promotes the informed participation of all citizens in their government. The League does not endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. There are 4 candidates running for 3 open seats on the Mandan Park Board, and 3 have joined us so far this evening. We expect the 4th to be joining us as the evening goes on. Here tonight, we have Mr. Chad Hotzenbuehler, Mr. Miles Melhoff, and Ms. Ann Keller, and Mr. Jason Ahrens should be joining us later. The audience is invited to submit questions using the index cards provided to you. Viewers at home can phone in questions by calling 667-3237 between 7:15 and 8:15 p.m. tonight only, Wednesday, May 7th, as this will be rerunning as the days go on. That number again is 667-3237. This evening is intended to be an exchange of respectful ideas. Our purpose this evening is to provide voters with information about the candidates and their positions on the issues that affect the people of Mandan. Now let's meet our candidates. You each will have 1 minute to tell us why you are seeking election to the Mandan Park Board, and we'll begin with Mr. Hotzenbuehler.
Hello there, my name is Chad Hotzenbuehler. I'm running for Mandan Park Board to just give back to the community. I've always been a resident of Mandan and always been using the park district. I just love it, and I also, just love it. Good town.
Mr. Melhoff.
My name is Miles Melhoff. I've been living in Mandan since 1977, so pretty much most of my life, all my school years, and I have very fond memories growing up, whether it be riding my bike across town to play frisbee golf or playing JV golf, and like Chad, I just want to give back to the community. I'm currently on the Planning and Zoning Commission over here in Mandan and the Architectural Review Commission, and I work in Mandan now as of last fall, and it's really allowed me to get out in the community more and make new relationships, and it's really been exciting and very interesting, and I'd just like to continue to build on that and give back to my community as it grows.
And Ms. Keller.
My name is Ann Keller, and I am running for re-election to the Park Board. I've had past 4 years were fulfilling for me, serving with a great team, Park Board. I think we've accomplished a lot. There's still a lot yet to accomplish, and I would like to be a part of that team. I have lived in Mandan for the past 33 years. I'm a teacher, and have run into many students in my my years in Mandan. And I think the Parks and Recreation is a way for me to, I enjoy that, and a way for me to give back to the community also.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the questions developed by the members of the League of Women Voters, the Bismarck Tribune, our audience here tonight, and our viewers at home. For our audience here to submit a question, please use the index cards provided on your chairs. Viewers at home, again, can phone in questions by calling 667-3237 between now and 8:15 p.m. tonight, Wednesday, May 7th. That number again is 667-3237. And it should be noted that the use of questions is at the discretion of the League of Women Voters. Candidates have not been given advance copies of the questions. Each candidate will have 60 seconds to respond to each question. We ask that you please comply with our time restrictions so we can get to as many questions as possible tonight. And our timer will let you know when you're down to 30 seconds, then 10 seconds, then stop. So we'll begin with the first question going to Mr. Hatzenbuehler first. How would you explain the purpose of the Mandan Park Board?
The purpose for the Man.dan Park Board is really to facilitate all the responsibilities of that park to get all the jobs done correctly and make sure the facilities are always being up to date. That's the one thing I'm really looking forward to, is seeing all the facilities we already have available and keeping them up to the code or up to date for our citizens. And I can't wait to start thinking of new ideas for everybody.
Mr. Melhoff?
I believe that the park district's main function is to provide recreational activities and facilities for the citizens of Mandan, which will make a happier, healthy community. And it'll also, as we grow, it'll attract new families to our community if we are able to offer them something more than other communities are. And so I look forward to helping the Park District and Park Board expand some of their facilities and bring new facilities and programs to the city.
Thank you. And Ms. Keller?
Okay, I guess I'm going to go back to the Park Board mission. And the mission is to preserve and provide recreational opportunities for all ages and abilities while improving the quality of life for the citizens of Mandan. And I totally agree with that. I think that is our mission, and that is what the Park Board is here to do, and making sure that the citizens of Mandan are happy with the job we're doing and that we're listening to them.
Excellent, thank you. And of course, you can ask me to repeat the questions at any time. For the next question, we'll start first with Mr. Melhoff. What is the first issue you would address if elected to the Park Board?
The first issue has been in the paper recently here, and that's the hockey club is asking for more ice. And it's been floated around, potentially a sales tax. There's been two articles in the Bismarck Tribune, and the last one kind of expanded on more than the sales tax just being for the ice rink. And I know that the partnership between the hockey club and the Park District and Park Board could be improved, and it will need to be improved to be successful on a project like that. I think that's kind of, in fact, they have their meeting right now, and they're voting on new board members and president, and Parks Director Cole Higlin is at that meeting to be part of that. And so that hockey rink is very important, and that club is growing pretty fast, and it's the largest club that doesn't have 2 sheets of ice in the state of North Dakota. So.
Ms. Keller?
Okay, could you repeat the question again, please?
Certainly. What is the first issue that you would address if elected to the Park Board?
Okay, I agree with Mr. Melhoff that is going to be an issue for us. I think we need to be firm, fair, and consistent with all user groups, and so that's one thing we'll be looking into. I'm also looking forward to the YMCA coming to Mandan, and so that will be something that a big something that I'm looking forward to working with.
Excellent. And Mr. Hatzenbuehler?
I also agree with both candidates that the ice rink is going to be a huge issue, and I'm glad to try to be a part of that. I agree that they need to add another second sheet of ice, and it's going to be a good project to start on. I guess I really, never being on the park board, I'd like to learn from the experts that have already been here. So learning from them is going to be great the first couple of months, just getting used to the board. And then just seeing the growth of Mandan, figuring out ideas how to expand and how to give what the citizens really want. So listening to them is going to be the most important part.
Thank you. For this next question, we'll begin with Ms. Keller. What new or expanded needs and opportunities do you see for the Park District in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, the city of Mandan is growing immensely, new housing additions, and I think we need to preserve the green space for those housing complexes coming in, and also to connect our trailways, our trails to these new additions. We need to prepare green space for that through the Planning and Zoning Committee. I lost track of your question, I'm sorry.
Sure, I can repeat it.
Okay.
What new or expanded needs and opportunities do you see for the Park District in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, so preserving the green space is a big thing. The hockey rink, the hockey issue is another big, not a big issue we'll try to solve. Hopefully, positively, everybody will be happy with that. The YMCA will be a big issue, a big thing coming to Mandan too. Let's see. I can't think of anything else right now, I'm sorry.
Okay. Mr. Hotzenbuehler?
I agree. I think with all the new development, new people moving into Mandan, we're going to have to preserve that green space and make sure our parks right now are staying up to date. I just don't want to see those parks disappear while we're adding new parks over on the other side of town. I want everything to keep up and make sure that Mandan's just growing nice. And I'm excited for the YMCA. That's going to be a fun project too. And the ice rink's going to just keep on coming up tonight, so I'll just mention that right off the bat too. So.
And Mr. Melhoff?
Well, obviously, the ice rink and the YMCA, those are the two big ones. The Park District acquired 47 acres north of town, and it's just going to sit idle until some infrastructure gets out there, but that's a large piece of property that the Park Board will have to find the best use for, and listen to the community to see if there's some new needs that can be met there. There's been talk of a potential road, Division Street extension, that will kind of change the landscape of Sunset Park, where the Frisbee golf is, and the mountain bike trails, so that's something that might come back up. It's kind of been tabled for now, and so there'll be an issue there with a land swap, which that land was deeded to the Park District by the federal government, so you can't just give it away. There's a lot of rules there, so and then also a new item was an accessible park to give more opportunity for physically challenged children, and that's a very recent thing that the Park Board's studying.
Thank you, Mr. Melhoff. For this next question, we will start with Mr. Hotzenbuehler this time. Do you support a Park District and YMCA partnership for building a fitness and recreation center in Mandan? Why or why not?
Yes, I agree with that. Having a new facility and partnering up with YMCA is a great opportunity for us. It gives Bismarck and Mandan to kind of go back and forth using the facilities. I just see in the future that Bismarck and Mandan are going to start growing together and start being a partner. And I hope to be working with the Bismarck parks too, kind of back and forth on projects. And that's where one thing I could see, going back to the hockey rink, is partnering up with Bismarck or Mandan, just how we are with YMCA's are partnering up. So yeah, I just want to make sure that we partner up work together. The whole community should work together.
Thank you. Mr. Melhoff?
Could you repeat that question, please?
Yes. Do you support a Park District and YMCA partnership for building a new fitness and recreation center in Mandan? Why or why not?
I do also support it, and probably the main reason I support it is it seems like the Park District's role is going to be less and less in that, where the YMCA is likely going to strike a deal with Sanford to build that facility and operate that facility. And at that point, the Park District would just kind of be the landowner, excuse me, and lease it back to them. And I think it's a great opportunity for people in South Mandan to belong to the YMCA, and if they work in Bismarck, they could use both facilities potentially, and would allow them to. I have young children, and it's tough to get into the gym, and having an option close to my work and one near my home would be a great asset.
And finally, Ms. Keller?
This project has been really dear to my heart since we talked about it many years ago, and so I definitely support the idea. I think there's going to be opportunities for all ages to use that facility. It's, again, Bismarck and Mandan coming together for different projects is a positive thing, and I think that I'm looking forward to the day when we will have a YMCA in Mandan.
Thank you. This next question will go first to Mr. Melhoff. Raging Rivers is a recent acquisition of the Mandan Parks Board. What is your vision for the facility?
I think it's been ran very well. I know they just changed, hired a new manager to take that over on July 3rd, and I expect Kara to do a real good job with it. I guess I would like to see them expand and maybe offer some additional slides. I know it's kind of I had a teenage daughter who used to take there, and she didn't even go down the slides. They would just sun and socialize. So there's a kind of a user, the age group of 0 to 12. They have the kiddie play area for 0 to 7-year-olds, and then 7 to 12 is when they really maximize the use of the slides and stuff. So keep that in mind and potentially explore additions, maybe new slides or that sort of thing.
Ms.
Can
Keller?
you repeat the question one more time? I know
Sure.
it's Raging Rivers, but.
Raging Rivers is a recent acquisition of the Mandan Parks Board. What is your vision for the facility?
Well, Raging Rivers has done very well in the last couple years, and we are looking at a new kiddie pool play package there, a larger one to accommodate kids a little bit older than just the kiddies. We are looking at refurbishing the slides, and so we did apply for a grant for the kiddie pool get a new play package there. That fell through, so we're going to work other ways, find other ways to be able to replace that, and in other ways to be able to refurbish the slides also, as Mr. Melhoff said. They look kind of, from the interstate, we want the place to look inviting.
And Mr. Hotzenbuehler?
I think Raging River's been doing a great job, and now that Mandan Parks is kind of taken over and hiring the new manager and everything, I think they just need to continue what they're doing. I mean, I go there every summer with my family, and I just see all the kids there. It seems like a nice place for kids to hang out all day and not be on the streets or anything like that. And you know, I can maybe see more kids' activities from the younger ones to the teenagers, and kind of having more festivities and kind of that kind of stuff there. So, yeah.
Thank you. We've heard discussion already this evening regarding the need for more ice time. So with that in mind, what would be the best solution to meet these needs for ice time in Mandan? And this will go first to Ms. Keller.
I agree that we need a second sheet ice in Mandan compared to the other cities. We've compared to the other cities in North Dakota. Mandan does only have one sheet of ice. The issue, I think, is financing, and I think that we need to figure out a way to help the Mandan Hockey Club get a second sheet of ice. We need to work together on that, and all the while considering all the other user groups and being fair to the other user groups as well. The hockey club does wonderful fundraising. They can raise part of the money. We can pay for part of it, and hopefully that will become a reality. It does bring a lot of people into Mandan. The hockey club does, and so financially it would be good for the city of Mandan too. So we need to work together on that.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. We've heard a bit already this evening regarding the need for more ice time. So what do you feel is the best solution to meet the needs of ice time in Mandan?
To meet the ice time in Mandan, again, it's going to come down to financials. I really haven't seen much of a plan yet. I'd like to see a solid plan of how it's going to be built and how much it's going to cost. I know there were some estimates out there, but really trying to figure out how the hockey club can kind of come up with that solution and who's going to take charge of the project. So yeah, I totally support it. I just want to make sure that we look at everything else, all the other groups. We can't be letting anyone out and just can't focus on one group, so.
And Mr. Melhoff?
One more time on the repeat of the question, please.
Yes, we've heard already this evening regarding the need for more ice time. What do you feel is the best solution to meet that need in Mandan?
I was kind of surprised that there wasn't an actual feasibility study performed. They did a study on cost of a new rink, but I would like to see some hard facts or some numbers on some usage. And, you know, after that, Bismarck is looking at adding a sheet at Schaumburg Arena, and they have a private citizen group that has said they could probably raise half the funds, $3.5 million. So I think that would be important for our hockey club to kind of see how they go about it. And I think ultimately a two-sheet facility at one location would be desirable for tournaments, and the existing facility is getting aged. And and I eventually see a two-sheet, maybe phase it where we start with one sheet and then repurpose the existing facility.
Thank you. This next question will go first to Mr. Hotzenbuehler. It's a question from the audience this evening. What should be done with the old tennis courts south of Mandan?
That's a good question. I was looking at that the other day, and really right now, as what I see it, there's not really much parking down there for the Ferris field, like for graduations and stuff like that. So, I mean, one idea would be for turning into parking lots, which wouldn't give us much a facility or anything like that. But, you know, offhand, right now I don't really have any other ideas for it. So, but it's something that we have to address.
Yeah, I guess I haven't looked specifically at that piece of property. I know it's become freed up from tennis. I think just not to rush into anything to repurpose it. Maybe it would be a site for an accessible park potentially. You know, it would be something to study, but I also don't have a great idea in mind for what to do there.
And Ms. Keller?
Well, there's been a lot of thoughts about what could go there. Parking is a big deal down there, not enough parking. I think we need to think outside the box, and sometimes thinking outside the box and ideas get into the community doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be reality. But to use that space to the best in the best way that the park district can use it, we have to think of the best way to use it. There's been ideas floating around, but there's nothing, we don't know for sure what it's going to be used for.
Thank you. This next question will go first to Mr. Melhoff. What are your ideas for ensuring that Mandan has sufficient recreation or green space per resident in all areas of the community?
Well, the Park District has made big strides on that. They've got the city to change the fees for building permits, which will allow them to be proactive in purchasing new green space. Also, that 47 acres, which I mentioned before, is a nice chunk of space that could remain mostly green space. Well, just to be in front of these developers as they make new subdivisions, and with those funds that are growing. I believe typically in a year we would get $20,000, which in a year from building permits, and that didn't really allow us to even buy a lot. And so far through the first quarter, this year they had 22,000 just from new building permits. So that fund is a lot larger. So in order to be proactive, at 47 acres they acquired, when they first started discussing that, it was 60 acres, and 13 acres got sold out, and they ended up buying 47 at the same price that they started. So if you can pull the trigger a little quicker, it'd be better.
Thank you. Ms. Keller?
Okay, repeat the question, please.
Yes. What are your ideas for ensuring that Mandan has sufficient recreation or green space per resident in all areas of the community?
Okay, we have a member a member of the park board that is on the planning and zoning committee along with the director. And so they are there to ensure green space, the green space that, you know, would be necessary for our needs in Mandan. And also the fee, as Miles said, for the home build, to build a home went up from $100 to, I can't remember, is it 500 or?
It's 250.
$250, okay, $250 per new house to go towards the green space. And so I think we have, I would say we have that pretty much under control as far as getting green space or having green space in these new communities that we have.
And Mr. Hudson-Buehler?
I have to agree, the park board does have it under control. I think working with the planning and zoning committee is ideal to keep the green space, just to make sure that, I mean, we're not losing our beautiful cities, so, yeah, I think they covered it.
Okay. This next question will go first to Ms. Keller. Regarding Dakota Centennial Park, which is used for the rodeo and car races, should anything be done to expand or upgrade it? And this question came in from the phone.
Okay, that is my portfolio. My portfolio is the Dakota Centennial Park as well as Raging Rivers and Raging Fitness. I think there needs to be some upgrades. I think the bleachers, the bleachers need to be upgraded. And of course, I think we would love to have more bleachers for the 4th of July rodeo. And maybe I've heard a cover for the top of the bleachers also for inclement weather. So I do think that that's a wonderful place, Dakota Centennial Park. It brings in a lot of people, a lot of activities, and can be used for a lot of things. In the middle of the flood, it was used for the Papa's Pumpkin Patch, and so I think that's a great place for the city of Mandan, and we need to do what we can to keep it usable and to keep it comfortable for the citizens of Mandan.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson-Buehler?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, so this is a question that came in from the telephone. Regarding Dakota Centennial Park, which is used for the rodeo and car races, should anything be done to expand or upgrade it?
I think really just the infrastructure should be updated a little bit. I mean, watching races out there every Friday is amazing, but when it gets windy, it'd be nice, or it rains, it'd be nice to have a cover on top, and kind of maybe update, you know, the bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of bring it up to more standards of what we're used to, and that was built, I can't remember how many years ago, before my time probably, so, but yeah, just upgrading the facility and.
Thank you. Mr. Baha?
Repeat the questions, please.
Yes, regarding Dakota Centennial Park, which is used for the rodeo and car races, should anything be done to upgrade or expand it?
I think it's a great facility right now. In addition to those two user groups, there's also soccer fields out there. I know that the parking with the soccer can kind of be a headache. People park on the grass there, and then on the street there, it's the park, or the soccer board rather, is worried about kids running between fields over to the varsity fields or across the street. So I guess an improvement would be some parking to designated parking to soccer, and that would probably benefit the other events out there, the parade. You'd probably fit more cars in there if there was paved and painted parking. So I think that would be an improvement, and maybe while doing that, we could indicate or find that there's extra area there for potentially a hockey rink or two, or another facility potentially. There's might be untapped space.
Thank you. We're about halfway through our forum this evening, and I would like to once again invite both our in-house audience to submit questions using the index card provided by volunteers, and I'd also like to invite the television viewers. You can call 667-3237 to submit questions, tonight only, Wednesday, May 7th. Once again, that number is 667-3237. Continuing on, this next question will go first to Mr. Hudson-Buehler. What role should the Park District play in promoting healthy lifestyles?
The roles that the park board should play in healthy lifestyles is having more programs out there, getting out and exercising, more promotions of how you can use the parks, how you can use the facilities, how you can use the programs. I mean, just educating the citizens about everything that we have provided for them and how living that healthy lifestyle just makes life easier. I just remember a couple of years ago, I was training for a marathon, and my life had just changed just from being healthy and eating healthy, and that's just, I think we need to kind of tell the citizens, like, we have the facilities, we have everything to do this, so let's come out and have some fun.
Thank you. Mr. Melhoff?
I would echo his statements that, promoting the facilities, they've been real good about adding a lot of trails, and when the weather is nice, you just see all kinds of people. Last night was a good indication, and there was all kinds of people on those trails, and I think having visible facilities like a trail through all these, and as we expand, the city expands, we need to keep connecting trails and adding trails that people see and see others using, and just a promotion of the programs and facilities that the park board has is very important to a healthy community.
And Ms. Keller?
I think it's very important that we promote a healthy experience for the citizens of Mandan, provide for the citizens of Mandan without getting too personal. Maybe I can use that word. I'm going back to thinking about being approached a while back about having the parks be smoke-free. That was a big issue. I don't think that we have the right to tell people not to smoke outdoors, but it's our mission to provide the trails, the parks, the availability of our facilities to encourage or make the citizens of Mandan want to be a part and join in doing the healthy activities.
Thank you. This next question will go to Mr. Melhoff. Do you feel that the play spaces in the Mandan parks are accessible to all children regardless of physical ability? And if not, how do you think they can be improved?
I would say that they probably are not. At a recent meeting, the Bismarck Mandan Chamber of Commerce Leadership Committee made a presentation to the park board, and they have identified that there is a need in the Bismarck Mandan community to provide more or better facility for that. Minot has one. Bismarck has some accessible pieces, but that leads to these physically challenged children. They can feel left out because the other children will run to a piece of equipment they can't access. So I think that's a very important topic, is to provide a facility like that, which is currently under study. I think the leadership committee identified Eagles Park, but there's another park there, and it's a nice location, but I think it could lead to a separation where the children that need the accessible park would be at one park, and then the children that don't would be over at the other park, and so I'd like to see it as kind of a standalone park somewhere.
Thank you. Ms. Keller?
Okay, yes, I thought it was a great idea of them to approach us with, to have a park for the handicapped or the children with physical challenges. I was under the understanding, and I know Miles was at the meeting, but it was my understanding that the park at Eagles Park would be accessible for all children. So I think it would be, which is what they'd like to do, is have, the children that have disabilities, some physical tributes, would be able to play with friends that are not, that are fortunate not to have handicapped or be handicapped, have a disability, that they could play together. So I was thinking that the park was going to be, what they're asking for is a park that would be able to, for all the children to play together. And I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's a long time in coming. We should have had one a long time ago, I think.
And Mr. Hudson-Buehler?
I think this is a great idea. I'm all for it. But I'm also, our other parks that are around Mandan, I think we need to look at adding ways for the disability to get to that side of the park. The only park I've really noticed is on 6th Avenue that someone with a wheelchair can actually be rolled up into the park. And then they'd have to lift them up into the facility. But I think just kind of making all of our parks accessible in some way or another, just to have everyone be able to play, on the stuff. So, but yeah, I'm excited for this project. I listened online at the meeting. I wasn't able to attend, but great idea that was approached, and I hope we move forward on it. So,
This next question will go first to Ms. Keller. What revenue sources, existing or new, should the Park District explore to continue to serve the residents of Mandan and its visitors?
Okay. A sales tax is a hard one to approach. However, I think that if we were to have a half-cent sales tax increase to, in order or to enable us to have a second sheet of ice and make the facilities in Mandan, our existing facilities up to date, our parks up to date, our new, or any new things that the user groups would like to have. There's always wish lists out there. And I think that, of course, it's not going to be up to the park board. It would have to go to the city commission and then to the vote of the people. And so if it's a tough one to deal with, but I think that it would enhance the city of Mandan if that's what the people and the city commission would go for.
could you
Mr.
repeat that?
Hudson-Buehler?
Sorry.
Sure. What revenue sources, existing or new, should the Park District explore to continue to serve the residents of Mandan and its visitors?
I think one route that I'm really looking at is, we already have softball facilities, and it seems like the numbers have been dropping in the last couple of years, and I think we need to look at more of bring that back into play and trying to get that up and going and promoting it. And I'm personally helping out the Mandan softball right now with rebranding for them. So, but I think that's one great idea. The ice rink is another great idea of bringing people in to spend money and everything. But again, I don't want to really approach this half-cent sales tax, but if there's, I guess we'll have to come up with some other ideas before we take that route. But that's just, to me, seems like kind of the easy way of going about it. So, but it's doable as long as all the groups are getting to be a part of that half-cent sales tax, not leaving anyone out.
And Mr. Melhoff?
Continue to go for grants, and now that we're getting additional businesses, maybe we can get business donations. I know that our mill levy is under what the state law allows, but I'm not in favor at the moment of raising that, which would essentially raise our property tax. So looking at user fees, I know it's been floated to charge a higher user fee if you're not in the city of Mandan, which other communities do. I'm not in favor of that, but it's something to keep in mind. So that brings us back to the sales tax, and the part I like about a sales tax is there's a lot of people in county and Bismarck that use Mandan facilities and programs, but the residents of Mandan end up paying for them through their property taxes. So if we are successful and have a sales tax, those county residents and that come into town to use those facilities will help pay for them.
Thank you. This next question will go first to Mr. Hudson-Buehler. What resources and methods will you use to stay current on the needs and wishes of Mandan residents for their parks and recreation?
The resources I'll use is staying in touch with the community, learning what the needs are, also working with the board members. Bringing my, I guess, one of my talents is being innovative and always trying to solve problems. That's what I do for a living, is solve problems. So this is why I want to be on the Mandan Park Board, to solve problems for our community that will help it grow. And I'm just excited to be a part of that.
Mr. Melhoff?
Could you please repeat the question?
Yes. What resources and methods will you use to stay current on the needs and wishes of Mandan residents for their parks and recreation?
I think just being accessible to the community, whether that be going around and attending different functions, being available through social media, whether it be Facebook or whatever, will be important for these young families. You know, just be out there in the public, go to Buggies and Blues and these different events that the Mandan Progress Organization puts on. You know, it'd be important to us to be out in the community and talking to people.
And Ms. Keller?
I think in the past 4 years for me, being a part of a lot of the Parks and Rec activities, being a part of the gym, using Raging Rivers, hearing what people have to say about the facilities that we have, being available to the public, of course by phone or email, listening to them, listening to what they have to say, listening to their needs and concerns, and just being a part of everything that we have in our department, and listening to, you know, what other people think about what we have.
Thank you. This next question is another question from the phone, and it's going to go to Mr. Melhoff first. The caller asked regarding campground, any plans for campground in Mandan? And so I'll expand that to say, should the park board take some role in bringing in, either expanding existing or bringing in a new campground in Mandan?
I don't know. To me, that I would rather camp out in the county somewhere, away from the infrastructure in the city. So I think that would be better suited for a county park. If somebody brought it up, I would certainly explore it and likely be in favor of it, but I don't know if that's an agenda that I personally would push. I am interested in continuing to explore adding a boat ramp, which the Corps of Engineers continually votes down, but I think a public boat ramp would help our community immensely.
Thank you. Ms. Keller?
Okay, that's a new one for me too. I have not heard about, heard of the concern of wanting a campground in the city. If we have space for it, and if that's a need that people want, if it's something that would become a great, it's just like the dog park, if I can go to something new, you know, that was something that we didn't know. People came and asked for the dog park, and it's probably been one of the best things that, you know, the park board has done for the city of Mandan. The people just love that. And so maybe this is something new too, a campground in the city of Mandan, if that would be something that the people would like, I'd certainly explore that.
Thank you. And Mr. Hotzenbuehler?
Well, I'm a camper, so I like to go out in the county and camp. It's a unique idea, I guess. You know, like there's a RV spot right behind the Colonial that people use, but that's not attractive. But I think it's a unique idea. I would like to explore it more, but to me, camping is being out of the city and being with your family and enjoying having fun. So I agree. Like the dog park was a great idea, and that's another thing I think maybe North Mandan would be really benefit to, is a dog park. I noticed a lot of people, when I was going door to door, was asking me those types of questions. So yeah, never heard the camping one before in town, but it's a unique idea. We'll look at it.
Thank you. And I'd like to again remind any viewers that for anyone who'd like to call in with a question, the number is 667-3237, and that's for tonight only, Wednesday, May 7th, 667-3237. This next question will go first to Ms. Keller. What recreation areas do you visit and frequent?
That I visit when?
What recreation areas do you visit?
In the city of Mandan, okay? Well, I'm an avid gym goer, so I'm a Raging Fitness member, and I take my grandkids to the Raging Rivers. I walk a lot, so I use our trails. I like to ice skate, so I've used the arena, swim, use the swimming pool. Let's see. Been to soccer. I have grandchildren in soccer now. Been to a few baseball games. I'd have to say pretty much all around. I think golf. I used to work at the golf course. I like the golf course. Like to golf too, both golf courses. So,
Mr. Hatzenbuehler?
I have to say, I mean, when I was younger, I used all the facilities, but now it seems I'm always at the dog park. I have a little puppy, and she loves to run there, and I love to run there, and then I bring my daughter there, and she can run around, so it's just a great atmosphere, and everyone's really nice there. Also like to enjoy going to the races every Friday night. That's a nice family activity. I also use the trails. A lot of the little parks. I always take my daughter and my wife we go to these little parks just where she can go and play for a little bit and enjoy the atmosphere, so, yeah.
Mr. Melhoff?
I'm currently the vice president of the Mandan Soccer Club, and I coach 2 teams there. I've been coaching soccer since 1992, so I spend quite a bit of time out there. This is the first year I've had a child in hockey, so I've spent quite a bit of time there this winter. I enjoy the golf. I go to the neighborhood parks quite a bit. Should use the trails more. I do like mountain biking, and I use the Sunset Mountain Bike Trail, and I actually also frisbee golf, so I get out to a lot of our facilities.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Mr. Jason Ahrens, who's now been able to join us.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's all right. Mr. Ahrens, everyone else had an opportunity to take a minute to introduce themselves this evening. So if you'd like to take a minute now, introduce yourself and why you're running for park board.
Okay. Well, first of all, sorry for being late. We had a baseball for the little kids for the 9 and 12s, and I had to pitch in this cold weather. So my attire isn't appropriate really here, but came as quick as I could. Anyways, my name is Jason Ahrens. I've been on the park. This will be running for my 3rd term. I'm currently the president of the park district today. I kind of got thrown into it by our past president, Tracy Porter, because he's put in his time with the park district, so he wanted me to shadow him for a year or so. So it's been good. We got a good board sitting there today. I have 3 boys. One's going to be 14, one is 12, one's 10. They're involved in every activity that you can think of. So we use a lot of the facilities, and I grew up in this area, in the Mandan area, participated in a lot of stuff with Parks and Rec. So for a community that gave to me for so long, this is my chance to kind of give back and be able to kind of help the city grow with their Parks and Rec stuff over the next couple years. So.
Thank you. And the question that everyone just finished answering, I'll also direct to you. What recreation areas do you visit and frequent?
Well, with 3 boys, pretty much all of them, except I don't have any kids in hockey. So that is one area that we haven't utilized as a family. But pretty much everything else within the park district, I haven't been able to play frisbee golf like Miles has, but the kids keep us pretty busy throughout all the facilities of the park district. So.
Thank you. Returning to our rotating questions, this next question will go first to Mr. Hatzenbuehler. This is a question from the audience here this evening, so hopefully I'll get it correct. What is your feeling or opinion regarding putting a fast-pitch softball complex with 4 fields and tennis courts on school board property at Lakewood? This would, of course, need to be achieved by working with the school board. And the person notes that girls' fast-pitch softball is rapidly a growing sport in Mandan.
Like I mentioned before, I'm a avid softball player, and I will agree that would be a great opportunity for Mandan. Great source for revenue and everything like that. We'd have to work with the school board, of course, and make sure that that partnership, we can get that going, but that'd be an awesome adventure to go down, so, yeah.
Mr. Melhoff?
Could you please repeat that question?
Yes. What is your feeling or opinion regarding putting a fast-pitch softball complex with 4 fields and tennis courts on the school board property at Lakewood, which would, of course, have to be achieved by working with the school board?
I would certainly be in favor of exploring it further. I believe that Park District is moving forward with putting a single fast pitch field at Fort Lincoln School. I don't know that the needs are warranted for a 4-field facility. If that is the case, and that can be presented, I would certainly support it. As far as tennis, I know that there's new courts up at the middle school, and again, we'd have to work with that individual user group and the tennis club to identify that that is a need, and if so, I would certainly be for it going south of town, separated from where the other courts are at the Lakewood location.
And Ms. Keller?
Again, I think we discussed fast pitch softball down on by Fort Lincoln. I guess I would be in favor of it if there is enough interest in it from the community. I mean, there's many things that I think we're looking at. I think thinking outside the box, like I said, again, is something that we have to do. Whether some of those ideas become reality, I'm not sure, but listening to what the citizens want or need, and if that's one of the wants and needs that we have, then I would be interested in going forward with that or looking into it.
Thank you. Mr. Ahrens?
Yes. Fast pitch is becoming a high school sport, I believe, in 2015. So obviously, if the interest is there and numbers are there, it's something to definitely take a look at. Fort Lincoln is kind of the option right now that's been discussed. Not quite sure we need 4 fields down at a school, but if the financing or the money is available and the numbers warrant it, it's definitely something that we could explore with the school district.
Thank you. This next question will go first to Mr. Melhoff. How can the park board balance the maintenance of current facilities with the need for adding new ones?
I think the key to that is long-term planning and knowing your equipment and your facilities in and out, so you can kind of gauge when the maintenance will be there. You know, it's not always going to be. There'll be breakdowns of the ice chiller at the ice rink, and Raging Rivers is in the swimming pool are a lot of maintenance, but those facilities have been around a lot. That Mike and the other park board staff has probably got a pretty good feel of the condition it's in, and can help us long-term plan and budget for the challenges of maintenance, while prioritizing maintenance versus expansion.
Ms. Keller?
I think it's important that we keep up the facilities that we have. We have some facilities that need refurbishing, parks that need to be, have new equipment. So I think it's important that we keep up those facilities financially, and with what we have, after we keep those facilities up to date, be able to build new facilities or build new wants and needs for our parks. Yeah, that checked up there.
Mr. Ahrens?
You know, if you look around Bismarck, Mandan, the cities grow pretty rapidly. It's tough as a park district to grow with them or as fast as they are. So We basically got to look at just kind of phasing things over the, 3 to 5 year period. Just because we get a big growth in numbers doesn't mean that we, as a park district, our budget grows. So we got to look at just phasing it out, or phasing some of these projects in, and our staff today does a pretty good job at maintaining what we do currently have. So phases would be my answer.
Mr. Hudson-Buehler?
I would agree with the phases. I think the park district has a great staff, and I think it's just working with them to make sure that all the facilities are running properly and what needs fixing, and of course, planning it all out. I mean, when we grow, that seems like we grow so fast, everyone thinks that we can just build. Well, that's not the case. It all takes time. So, I mean, it's just planning and making sure the finances are there and that we're doing the right thing for the citizens of Mandan.
Thank you. We only have about 5 minutes left this evening, but I'd like to give you each 1 minute for closing comments, and we'll begin with Mr. Ahrens.
Closing comments, okay. The park district, when you look at the board today, we sit up here and we try to do the best we can for the citizens of Mandan. But deeper, we have an executive director today that does an extremely great job, a guy that's hard to replace. And when you go to the maintenance side with Mike Zur, another guy that's hard to replace. So we've got great staff in place. We've got great people running for the board today. It's always good to have fresh faces and new ways to look at things. So we just got, as citizens, got to be open to other ideas to help us phase into this growth that we're experiencing today, while still kind of maintaining appropriate debt levels. So.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson-Buehler?
Could you repeat the question? Or it's just a closing, right?
Yes.
So, well, I think the park board is doing a great job, and I mean, I've been watching these guys for the last couple of years, and it kind of just got me excited to give back to the community of what they're doing, and I wanted to be a part of that. And I really want to get my hands on into the community, and all these great projects that are coming up. I just would like to see it all happen for Mandan while it's growing. And yeah, City of Mandan is a great place to be, and I want to make sure everyone is happy with the facilities and it grows well.
Thank you. Mr. Melhoff?
Growing up in Mandan, as I mentioned earlier, playing soccer and using the parks, making a ramp and jumping our bikes, that was all great memories. And I have 3 young children at home, and they're starting to get out into the park district programs and using the facilities. And so it's just a really exciting time for me personally, and along with Mandan's growth. I'm in the engineering field, and growth is great for that, and so it's a good segue into a leadership role on the park board. And I would echo these sentiments to my right here, that the existing staff is doing a great job. You can't please everyone, but all the time, but you need to try to, and the park district has done a great job, and to continue down that path and keep striving.
Thank you. And Ms. Keller?
Well, the past 4 years have been really fulfilling for me. It's been a great learning experience working with a wonderful team and a great director. I agree we need fresh faces, new ideas, and so I'm excited for a change to happen with the park board. We've accomplished so much in the last 4 years that I'd like to be a part of this and the growth with the City of Mandan growing for the next 4 years.
Thank you. Candidates, thank you all for being here this evening. I wish to also thank the Bismarck Tribune, Dakota Media Access, and the volunteers from the League of Women Voters for organizing this forum. Thank you to the viewers at home and our audience members here tonight for taking the time to learn more about the candidates and issues. This program will replay several times on Government Access Cable Channel 2, and will be available for online viewing at www.freetv.org in the days leading up to the June 10th election. Again, online, it's www.freetv.org. Before we close this candidate forum, I want to remind you that voting in North Dakota is very simple, and you can find voting information at your county auditor's office and from the office of the North Dakota Secretary of State. Thank you and good night.